Next we're going to be making the arm. Starting off with accent colour, we're going to create a magic ring. So the hook under, pull through, twist, yarn over, pull through, chain 1. We're going to do 5 single crochets into the magic ring. So this will count as a first, do 4 more, second single crochet, third, fourth, fifth. Then going to pull your magic ring to tighten. For the next round, we're going to single crochet into the first stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and then I'm going to place my stitch marker in that stitch as it will count as our first single crochet of the next round. For round 2, we're going to do 5 increases, which is 2 single crochets in 1 stitch. So this is the first single crochet of the increase, second, and then we're going to do that 4 more times. After you've done the 5 increases, for round 3 we're going to do a single crochet into each stitch for a total of 10 single crochets of the round. On our last single crochet, we're going to do a colour change. But first, you flip your project so the tail is on the inside. With your base colour, take the tail and put it on the inside, yarn over, pull through. For the next 6 rounds, from round 4 to 9, we're going to be doing single crochets in each stitch in the base colour. I'm now going to cut off the white yarn as we won't need it anymore, and tie a knot with the 2 tails. Tuck the tails into the arm and continue working. So I've done 4, 5, 6. This will be round 7. And last round, round 9. Now that I've finished the last round, I'm going to slip stitch into the next round Depending on how thick your yarn is, you may need to stuff your arm a little bit, but you don't want the arms to be too stuffed, so just a little bit of stuffing. Next, you're going to take out the stitch marker, and you don't have to, but when sewing this onto the body, I prefer to sew when they are folded. So I'm going to sandwich my arm together, insert my hook into the first stitch, and then insert my hook into the back stitch. So I have 2 stitches on my hook. And I'm going to yarn over and pull through both stitches and pull through the loop again to slip stitch. Continue this by inserting your hook into the first stitch, inserting it into the back, yarn over, pull through, pull through. This should be around 4 slip stitches to get you from one side to the other. And then once you've done this, I'm going to chain 1, cut the yarn, and then I'm going to pull the yarn tail through. And then I'm going to hide the yarn tail by inserting my hook anywhere in the arm, then inserting it up to where the yarn tail is, yarn over and pull the yarn tail through. You've now completed an arm. I will have the timestamp on the screen so that you can go back and make an exact one again. Once you've made both of your arms, they should look something like this. You then want to put your 2 arms aside. Next we are going to be making the horn. To do this, with the base colour, create a magic ring, chain 1, and then we're going to, which this counts as your first single crochet. We're going to do 7 more single crochets into the magic ring for a total of 8. So 1 single crochet, which that counts as our second, third, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. We're then going to pull the yarn tail close, and insert our hook into the first stitch and do a single crochet. This will count as our first single crochet of the next stitch. We're then going to do 2 rounds of single crochet for a total of 8 stitches. So that counts as our first, round 1, and do 1 more round of single crochet. Once you've completed round 3, flip your project inside out so the yarn tail is on the inside. We're then going to fasten off by slip stitching, chaining 1, and cutting the yarn. Leave a medium-sized tail so that you're able to sew it on. Pull the yarn tail through and pull to tighten the knot. You've now completed a horn. I'll have the timestamp on the screen so that you can go back and make another one exactly the same. Once you've made 2 horns, you want to put them aside. Next we are going to be making the ears. I like to make 1 ear in each colour, so I'm going to make the first ear in white and the second ear in brown. To make it, create a magic ring under, pull through, twist, yarn over, pull through again. That'll count as our first single crochet. We're now going to do 6 more single crochets for a total of 7 in the magic ring. Second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. Once you've done your 7 single crochets, pull the yarn tail to close the magic ring. We're then going to do a single crochet into the first stitch. This will count as our first single crochet of the next round. For round 2, we're going to do 7 increases. So the single crochet counts as the first, 1 more in the same stitch for an increase, and then do 6 more increases. For the third round, we're going to do 1 round of single crochet for a total of 14 single crochet stitches. Once you've done a round of single crochet, slip stitch to fasten off, chain 1 and cut the yarn with enough yarn to sew on. Once you've cut your yarn, pull the yarn tail through and pull the knot to tighten. I'll have a timestamp on the screen so you can go back and make the second ear. But once you've made your second ear, it should look something like this. Because you have a yarn tail coming from the back and from the side, we're going to move this tail to the side. To do this, insert your hook along the side of the project and then up to the center. Pull the yarn tail through so that it is on the side, and then going to tie a knot, and that should leave you with 2 yarn tails on the side. Once you've done this, put your ears to the side. In your accent colour, to create the nose, we're going to create a slip knot. To create a slip knot, hold the short end of the yarn in your right hand. With your left hand, grab the yarn with your pointer finger, and then with the middle finger of your right hand, create an S. With your left hand, you're then going to twist twice to create a crossover and loop. With your 2 fingers in the loop, grab the long yarn tail and pull through. Keep on pulling to create a loop knot. Insert your hook into the loop and pull the long tail to tighten it to the hook. We're then going to chain 6 by yarning over, pulling through for 1, yarn over, pull through for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're then going to work from the second loop from the hook. So this is the first, this is the second. We're then going to do 4 single crochets. Insert the hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. In the last stitch, we're going to do 3 single crochet all in the same chain space. So 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, 3 single crochet. Once you've done 3 single crochets into the same stitch, we're going to be working along the back side of the foundation chain. We're going to do 3 single crochets. 1, 2, 3. Once you do 3 single crochets, we're going to do an increase into the next stitch. which is 2 single crochets into the same stitch. Once we do the increase, we are going to be doing another increase along the other side of the nose. So we're working in a circle. I'm doing an increase, crochet 3 single crochet, 2, 3, do another increase, followed by a single crochet, then another increase into the next stitch, once we've done this, do 5 single crochets along the back side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, do an increase, 1, 2 in the same stitch, and we've finished the nose. We're then going to do a slip stitch into the next stitch to fasten off. So yarn, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through again, chain 1, and leave a long tail to sew. Now that you have made your head, your body, 2 ears, 2 arms, 2 horns, and a nose, we're going to be sewing all of this together. First, we're going to sew the head to the body, making sure that both swatches are on the front. We're going to be sewing clockwise, so to the left, and we're going to be sewing the last row of the head to the last row or second to last row of the body. Once you've positioned your head so it is straight and that the eyes are centered to the body, we're going to grab the yarn that we left on the body, insert it into our darning needle, pull all the way through. We're then going to insert the needle into the head, back down to the body, and pull through. You're going to continue working from the head down to the body, so insert the needle from the head down to the body diagonally and pull through, making sure to pull tight so that there isn't a seam. Continue this all the way around the head. Once there's only a little hole left, if your head or body needs stuffing, continue to stuff it. Once you've sewed your head on all the way, you can try to pull it apart, and if you see any gaps with the excess yarn, you can continue sewing the gaps till they aren't noticeable. Once you're happy with your sewing job, hide the yarn by either cutting it if it's longer, and then with the crochet hook, you're going to insert your hook through the head, pull the yarn tail through, and then hide the yarn tail. Your body should be looking like this. I'm now going to be sewing on the arms, and because I didn't leave any yarn to sew them with, I'm just going to use the leftover yarn from the body. To do this, first you want to attach the yarn to the arm by inserting the hook through both sides, pulling the yarn through, tie a knot, and once you've tied the knot, you want to hide the yarn tail. You then want to position your arm so it's on the side of the body, and you can either sew it so it's loose or sew it's pinned down. I like to sew it 1 to 2 stitches away from the eye, so that when you look from its side on, the eyes are just in front of the arm. I'm going to insert my yarn through the yarning needle, and then you sew the arm on. To sew the arm on, insert your needle through the head, down through the body, and then through the arm. Continue doing this until your arm is completely sewn. Now that the arm is completely attached, I'm going to sew it so that the arms are tied to the body. To do this, you want to insert the needle where you last sew it together. Find where you want the arm to be pinned down. So say I want it to be pinned down in the center, so it will be here. I'm going to insert my needle into that spot, and then you want to pull that through. Once you've pulled it through, with that exact spot of the arm, point the needle in to the arm and then out the arm through the one stitch, and then pull that tight so that the yarn is pulling it towards the body. I'm then going to insert my hook into the stitch over from where I inserted the yarn, and I'm going to point it to the middle. That's one arm sewn on. Because I still have yarn, I'm just going to continue sewing with this yarn. So making sure that they're equal and that they're 1 to 2 stitches behind the eye. Start sewing the arm on the same way. Once you've sewed the arm on, I'm going to do the same thing, inserting the needle under the arm, inserting the yarn through the arm, and then back through the body. Once you're happy with the arms, I'm going to tie a knot by inserting the needle into the next stitch from where the yarn's coming out, back through the loop, and pull to tighten. cut the excess yarn and hide the tail. We've now sewed on the arms. Next we're going to be sewing on the ears. When sewing on the ears, we want to sew them between round 6 and 7 on the edge of the head. I'm going to do the white ear opposite the white swatch, and I'm going to first pin it with another darning needle, row 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 around here. Once you're happy with the placement, I'm just going to see what it looks like with the second ear. Making sure that they're straight when you look at them. I'm going to sew this right one on first. First off, I'm going to make sure that it's straight, so making sure that it's in line with the other ear. I'm going to insert my hook and pull the yarn tail through. And then I'm going to pull the yarn tail through the opposite direction and pull it back down to the first yarn tail. I've just pulled both of the yarn tails down and I've secured the ears. Once you're happy with the placement of the ear, I'm going to sew it together but with my hook. I'm going to do this by inserting my hook through the ear down the bottom, grabbing and then inserting my hook into the head. I'm then going to grab the yarn and pull through the head and through the ear. And pull tight. And then going to do the same but reverse. So from the back forward, insert my hook through the body, through the ear, pull the yarn tail through, and pull to tighten. We kind of want the base of it to be pointed, so I'm just going to squish it together, and then once I'm happy with that, I'm going to pull both of the yarn tails through to the same place, so I'm able to tie a knot and tie them off. But I'll leave that until I do the second ear. For the second ear, we want to do the same thing, making sure it is straight from above and that it is in the right row. Once you're happy with the placement, I'm going to tie a knot with the 2 yarn tails and hide them. Once you've tied the knot, you can cut the excess yarn and poke it through. Do the same thing with the second ear. Once you're happy with the ears, you want to sew the horns right next to the ears but on the top of the head. lastly, we're going to sew on the nose. When sewing on the nose, we're going to sew it in between the two eyes, so it will look like this. First, I'm going to get the short tail and insert my hook into the head and then up to the center of where the nose will be. This will keep the nose in the right position. I'm then going to also put another needle there so it stays in the right space. Next, we're going to sew it on by sewing from the head to the nose, from the head to the nose. Once you've sewed the nose on, you have finished your cow. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to like, subscribe and leave a comment to let me know how your project went.